Drifter 4 is released, but look at the patina. This, I simulated years of use, hard, heavy use. Look at that beautiful gradient, and then a nice polish and shine job. And these drop today, Thursday, so get them before they're gone, limited quantities. The Drifter 4 with the boot pocket kit, with the red flesh. It's one of the coolest boots we've ever done, so check them out below. I've got two of the luckiest people working for me of all time. I've been an avid hunter my whole life, 20 plus years, my whole family hunts. I've drawn one once in a lifetime or limited entry hunt. And that's usually what it takes, because when it comes to hunting, there's your general tags that most people get every year or every other year, but then there's the really cool special hunts, limited entry, once in a lifetime. And it takes literally like 20 years sometimes to draw these tags, because the way they do it is they split the tags. Half goes to a random draw, half goes to whoever has the most points, because you get a point every single year, so that's why it takes sometimes 20 years. So Taylor and Melvin, one day I walk into work and I just see huge smiles on their face. I'm like, what happened? Like, what was going on? And they're like, we just drew the most insane tag of all time. And Melvin had 0 points. Taylor had 3 points. And they put in together with 0 points and 3 points, decreasing their odds even more. And they both drew the tags. And we used the Go Hunt app to figure out what the chances of that were of happening. And it was 0.01% chance, which is absolutely insane. And they're the two of the luckiest bulls of all time. And the footwear you use is vital, especially on these once in a lifetime hunts. And that's what all this is about. We're trying to get to the point where we're doing more field testing. So support this, check it out, support the brands that donated all this stuff, all the sponsors. So let the hunt begin.
I'm Taylor, been hunting big game for about 5 years now. Mule deer, elk, did some turkey hunting this past season. Been chasing elk for a couple of years. I don't know what you define hunting as, but I've been finding them and chasing around the mountains, but haven't got one yet, so hoping to change that around today.
My name is Melvin. This is my 4th year hunting. I got introduced into hunting while I was in the military by some of my sergeants, but didn't really pick it up until I got out. And about 3 or 4 years ago was my first ever hunt. I went to go hunt javelina and mule deer down in Arizona. Was unsuccessful. And then last year I tried to do an archery elk hunt with no experience. Was not successful at all. What I've been doing to prepare is I've been doing a lot of leg workouts, hiking style workouts, because I went on a hike/camping trip down in the Uintas and I was struggling. And so I was like, okay, I need to get better. I need to get stronger legs, better lungs, and elevation. Honestly, slacked for the past 2 weeks before the hunt, so we'll see how it goes.
Should have done more cardio. So that's what I should have done more of. But yeah, just been preparing, e-scouting, looking online, trying to start from scratch because neither of us knew anything about the unit.
The first scouting trip was only literally an overnight trip. We did an evening scout and then a morning scout.
And basically just had the plan to drive the unit, just kind of get a broad overview of what it looked like, other than just maps we were looking at. We went up through the middle, went all the way up to the 12,000 feet on elevation. We assumed they were going to be that high because the summer heat and stuff. They weren't there. So nothing on that scout trip. Second weekend we went out.
And we didn't find anything the first half, and then the second half of the day, we went up to the spot. It was kind of a big bowl area, and we were glassing for a little bit, and then I hear Taylor say, oh, I spotted one. We followed him down to a wallow, started going crazy in the wallow.
Saw lots of sign everywhere, lots of bedding areas and stuff, lots of fresh tracks and stuff. So second scouting trip much better.
So how I ended up meeting my buddy Keaton, and I was on Facebook, and then I put up that I got the tag and all that stuff, and then come to find out, Keaton reached out and was like, hey, if you need a taxidermy, you know, this is what I do. And I ended up chatting with him for a little bit, ended up becoming like a Facebook friend online. After that, like the rest is history, just been texting back and forth about different bulls, different areas, because he's from the local area. And now that we're here, he's just helping us out. We got here Sunday, and our hunt starts tomorrow, which is a Wednesday. And honestly, the scouting has been awesome. The first night, actually, we heard bulls literally just behind our campsite, and we got super excited. Today, we ended up going to different spots, different times, and we ended up seeing, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 different types of bulls, big ones, small ones, but compared to the other days, we're definitely super confident that we might be able to tag out this year. What I'm most nervous about is probably not killing the elk as quickly as possible, because I've heard some bad stories of people injuring an elk and then they suffer for a little bit. But I hope to, shoot at the right area and give it a quick death.
Well, at first it was finding them, but that seems like that's been taken care of. So now it's just getting the job done, making sure it's ethical and quick, or hopefully not too deep in there that it's going to be too difficult. Again, didn't do enough cardio.
Get some rest. Wake up in the morning, eat good, feel good, look good, hunt good. Let's go. We got to shoot first.
We both want to shoot first and both have the best opportunities. It was an awkward topic that was just kind of like the elephant in the room that we kept avoiding forever. The day before, I was like debating of like trying to think of different ways to do it and like how we'd make it fair. So it's like to make it as impartial as possible, and so no one can regret anything of like, oh man, I should have thrown rock instead of scissors or picked heads instead of tails or whatever. I was like, let's put all the names and options into a hat and then have someone else draw that and have someone else flip the coin.
And then we had the other Keaton come by and pick out a name.
And it was Taylor Tails was what he drew. And I had him flip the coin, he flipped it, and it was tails, so I ended up getting the first pick.
He was trying to make it as even as possible, but I think he kind of cheated though. Just kidding. But no, so that's how we did it, and then he ended up shooting first. So on the first day that we were there, I was trying to set up a huge tarp because we heard that it was gonna rain, and while setting it up, I accidentally cut myself pretty bad. But luckily, Jace ended up giving us the Jace aid, and I just patched myself up and I was good for the rest of the hunt. And honestly, I'm glad that we got that because I didn't bring any first aid kits or anything, which was a mistake on my part, but thanks to Jace that they ended up giving us the Jace aid.
And so the first morning of the hunt, was super excited. We had seen a lot of things before. I'd heard a lot of great things about the unit, of course, so I was hoping for anything over a 350. Again, I didn't really know what that meant or what exactly I was looking for. And you can tell when a bull is big and small. So I knew over 350 was a big bull, so I was like, that's the number I had in mind, something that would represent that unit well. Got up, put on my Canis camo. Yeah, the camo was super nice. It was like very mobile, like I was wearing like some old King stuff, and that was like just cotton pants. They had like no stretch. I felt like very restricted, especially like in the legs. Yeah, putting on the Canis camo was super nice. Like the pattern was cool. Felt like more athletic, like I could move and be more mobile that way. So got ready, took the side-by-side down, just down the little path from our camp. We didn't see anything initially. Like it was like 30 minutes before official sunrise. We're gonna go check out another spot. The guy that was helping us, Keaton, he saw the bull and he started basically taking off running with his gun and his tripod and everything in hand. And then I tried to catch up and keep up with him, and we're dodging through aspens and stuff trying to get to this clearing. We got to this clearing. Everyone else got posted up. I jumped down a couple logs down. The bull had went into some trees and we couldn't see it.
Our friend Keaton was cow calling the whole time. While we were scouting a couple days prior, Taylor and I didn't see any cows. This one time that we saw the cow, it went down and across this open area on the hill. And while Keaton was cow calling, the bull just followed it down. And we're like, this is it.
One of the guys ranged it was like 550 yards away or so. And then the elk came into this clearing across the canyon, 350-ish yards. Keaton was like, take the shot. I waited a second, let it take a couple more steps, and it paused again. And then felt good there, and then I let one off, and then hit it. It paused and kind of like recoiled back. And then I was just like amazed that I got it. Keaton yells again to put another one in it. I'm like, oh yeah, so I hear him rack it again, and I get on it again, and I shoot again.
And then the third shot, spined it, and you just see it drop. Honestly, I was so excited that my body just dumped adrenaline and my hands were shaking because it happened so fast. It's not like how you see it on YouTube where everyone's just kind of chill. At least for us, since it was our first time, it happened so quick. I was so happy for him.
After it dropped, we were all freaking out, and kind of a surreal moment watching it drop there, and like knowing I'd hit it, and we were all excited and high-fiving and yelling. And it was a cool moment. Yeah, after that, we got packed up, pinned the location, so we knew like generally where to go. Went and dropped some stuff off at the camp and got what supplies we needed to go process it. Drove in the side-by-side as far as we could. It's probably like half a mile-ish, like side hilling to get to the bowl. So we trekked on in there through the deadfall and everything.
We ended up locating the bowl. Walking up to that bowl was kind of crazy because you'd see the bowls at like, I don't know, display at Sportsman's or at Cabela's, and you're just like, oh, that's kind of cool. But the fact that 45 minutes earlier, this thing was walking, and then you pull up and it's just there. And I was so happy for Taylor because that bull was huge.
As we were getting up on it, that was the first time I've like been up that close to a bull elk like that. So it's just like a surreal experience of like seeing how massive those animals are, and felt like this big amount of respect for the animal and like such an amazing animal it is. So it's just like, yeah, it was a pretty sweet experience walking up on it. And then we were on the east facing slope, so the sun was coming up and starting to beat down on the slope that the elk was on. And this is again mid-September. So we were in a little bit of a rush to get everything off. So we took our pictures and started taking the hide off.
I remember this part specifically where Keaton told me to hold up its front leg. As soon as I lifted the leg, blood was just gushing out in its chest cavity. And it was literally pouring like it was like a water fountain. And I was like, oh my gosh. It didn't smell or anything. I thought it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
We got everything processed, got everything in the bags, and then Melvin took a leg.
I happen to have the rear quarter, which kind of sucked because that thing probably weighed like, I don't know, 60 to 70 pounds. And the half mile that we were walking back to the side-by-side took us 2 hours. We dropped our packs, and I was like, man, Taylor's gonna need more help. And so I was like, whatever. I literally dropped the leg, put it in water, strapped up the pack. I think I had a little bit of water left, and I just like chugged it, stretched for like 10 seconds, and I was like, all right, Keaton, I'm going back out. And so I went back out.
What I was packing out was the head, obviously the whole rack, and then basically half of the hide that was just like completely bloody and wet. And then we strapped that into my backpack, and then I had to haul that out. I was not prepared, cardio or mentally for that. When we first got going, like getting the first heft of it on my back, I was like, oh crap, I have to go all the way back to the side-by-side now. Longest half a mile of my life. And then I made it probably like 50 yards, and I felt like my heart was gonna explode. So I had to sit down. We were all out of water. I only brought 2 water bottles, and I drank those during the processing process. So halfway through, I'm tired, dehydrated. At one point I was just like giving up to the elements. It felt like I like took the pack off, I like laid down.
So I'm hiking back and I'm going, and this is the part that I will never forget. I'm hiking through and it's like the tree line, and then it opens up. As soon as I go past that like tree line and I'm like looking for Taylor, I'm trying to find where he's at, I just hear on the right side, all I hear is, Melvin, I'm over here. And I look down and Taylor's literally, his pack's off. He's like laying on his pack and he has his hand up. He's like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude's like hurt. So I come down, I was like, you good, dude? He's like, do you have any water? I was like, yeah, I do. And so I was like, here, dude. I gave him some Gatorade, some water. He's like, oh, dude, thanks, man. I freaking owe you one. I was like, don't mention it, bro.
Yeah, so he gets me that water, drink. I'm rehydrated now, so I get my pack back on, start going. Got the last bit of the elk out at the same time, back to the side-by-side, and I was so happy to be done with it. But also so excited. My boots from Lathrop & Sons were spot on. I wasn't sure if I should wear them yet before the hunt, like as far as like the fitting process, because I had gotten the custom orthotic insoles in there. So the first time I wore them was when I got out there for the hunt. Unlike other boots where you need like a break-in, or if you don't wear them for a while, they'll like jack up your feet. Like I said, this is the first time I was wearing them, and I was able to pack out a whole elk. The whole hunt, there wasn't any hot spots, nothing uncomfortable. Like fit was spot on, so they were a key component of the success of the hunt for sure. That night celebrated with taking one of the tenderloins and cutting it into little medallion steaks for whoever wanted one, and all enjoyed a tenderloin steak that night. So best elk or best steak ever.
So the next day, it was only Keaton and I, and we took a side-by-side. We went up and around, and then as soon as we parked, we hiked in about 100 yards and we let out a bugle, and we heard 3 elk just going at it. We're like, cool. So we go up, and this is where the crazy part begins, because I've never experienced anything what's about to happen. We go to this area, we're like, okay, this elk's we're gonna try to call him down the hill. We're cow calling, and then there was an elk behind us bugling. After he cow called, there was an elk in front of us that was bugling, and then a third elk to like the right of us started bugling, and they just started going at it for maybe like 3 to 5 minutes. I was low-key scared, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by elk. What am I gonna do? If one pops up, am I gonna be quick enough? Is it gonna be a big elk? There were so many emotions going through this whole time. We finally started going up a little more. We just focused on that one elk that was in front of us. And we're like low crawling at this point. I'm like picking up my rifle, putting it hand down. We're like low crawling. He was like, don't make any sudden movements. Make sure you go slow, because you don't want to scare them. And then I just felt his like hand grab my back, and he pulls me back, and I'm like, what the heck? And then he's like, do you see those 2 trees right there? I was like, yeah. He's like, look what's in between that. And I just see like the right leg of an elk, and as soon as I put my rifle up, I just see the leg turn, and I was like, oh no, I miss it. I kind of felt defeated. I'm like, oh man. And I put my rifle down, and then he's cow calling, and then we see an elk just run down, and it comes down to this open area, broadside. I go up, and when I tell you, this shot was like, I was so scared. I was like, if I miss, what if and this bull was at 60 yards. I shot it, boom, and I see it kind of like jump up, and it's running down, and it trips on a log, and it falls down. And I was like, let's go. Like, you know, we got all hyped. I thought it was gonna die. It sat there for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, just waiting, and it's still breathing. And I'm like, dude, this thing's gonna pass away soon. But then it gets up. It gets up and starts running down. I was like, what the heck? And then he's like, put another one in the chamber. And so I put another one in. I didn't hear him say, don't shoot yet, but I saw it on the ground. Its back was towards us, and I shot it, waiting for it to die again for about 3 minutes. Then he just walks up to me, he grabs his pistol. He's like, hey, do you want me to end it, or do you want to end it? I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna be like, nah, you can do it. But I was like, nope, this is my elk. I'm gonna do this. So I end up walking about, I don't know, 5 feet from it, and getting the pistol, taking the shot, and then a couple seconds later it passes. Crazy experience of my life. I don't know if I'll ever experience something like that again, but it was honestly a cool experience for my first elk.
The actual day that Melvin got his bull, I decided not to go out that morning. Of course, the one morning I don't go, he ends up getting one. So I was a little bummed about that I wasn't there. Because I didn't go, I thought I would make myself useful, and I hopped on my little Coleman motorcycle and scooted on over to this little glassing knob that we'd checked out a couple times. And then as I was glassing around, heard on my Midland radio, because I had it on just in case, and Melvin came over the radio and asked me if I was there. Told him I was on the radio, and then he told me that he'd gotten a bull down, so I was like super stoked. So I hurried and packed up all my stuff, jumped on my little motorcycle and cruised on back to camp. And so actually going out to the bull, much closer, much easier. We were able to get a lot closer on the side-by-side.
And we all hiked up. And luckily, this wasn't half a mile. This was probably 200-300 yards from our side-by-side. So we ended up going there, and honestly, we got some cool looking shots because walking up to it, even though I already saw it, was still kind of surreal. Like, oh, I literally just killed this thing, I don't know, an hour ago. And luckily, we were in an area that was shaded, so we weren't really worried about the heat. So we started skinning it, and to my surprise, the iconic knives, I thought they were just like a daily knife. This thing was skinning this thing like butter, like it was awesome. But it was just so crazy, just taking the meat and taking the legs, cutting it. There was definitely a sense of like accomplishment and a sense of connection to that animal. It was a weird feeling. I've never experienced that. It was like, okay, like it took me 3 days, well, more than that, because went out prior to hunting or taking classes, shooting, buying all the bullets, going out scouting, all that time for that moment just to get this bull to fill the freezer. So it was really special.
Yeah, when it came time to pack out, his all together was much better, like a better, more level ground, just a slight slope, so that was easier to work around. We weren't falling down the mountain or wasn't dirt everywhere.
This time I didn't carry the rear quarter because I had to carry the head, which was totally fine with me because it wasn't half a mile and there wasn't that much deadfall. So I ended up carrying it, and that thing was, I don't think it weighed as much as Taylor's, but I was still swaying a lot. That thing was crazy, and no wonder these elk are crazy strong animals. Put the elk in the side-by-side and then went back to camp. And I had a little shot of Johnny Walker Blue Label that I've had for 3 or 4 years. It's just been in my freezer. And I took a shot and I was like, all right, this is, the occasion for it, because I was gonna do it like on New Year's, but then I didn't. I was gonna do it on my birthday, but I didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it for something special. And that was definitely super special. And that thing went down really smooth. So that was a fun time and I'll never forget it. So when it came time to measure, I was like, just please be bigger than like 300 inches. Because the second tine on the elk broke off during the velvet. So it has like a little nub on the second one. They ended up scoring it, I believe, around like 340, 350, something around there, closer to 340.
I don't know anything about measuring elk racks or whatever. So Keaton and his friend helped us out with that. So they measured mine. I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was a good bull and people were like throwing around numbers and stuff. And then they measured it and they came up with, it was exactly 382 and 7/8. This is what they said. So I was super, super stoked. Definitely knew that was like a trophy, once in a lifetime bull for sure.
We were bringing back my bull and Taylor's bull. Taylor has a SUV, decent size, but not with all the gear plus the elk. So I told Taylor, like, I can just carry your, elk head because I have some roller cam straps and I'll just strap it to the back. And luckily we did, because Taylor's car looked like it was bottoming out. It looked like it was a lowrider. And so we strapped up the bull, and honestly, the roller cam's super easy. You didn't have to ratchet anything. All you had to do is tug once and it was done. Like, that was it. And the drive home from where we were hunting was like 3 hours away. Didn't move an inch. So yeah, those roller cam ties were perfect. So my next dream hunt would be probably sheep, like high mountain sheep and Alaskan grizzly bear. on Kodiak Island would be insane.
Dream hunt would be a bison. So I'd have a lot of respect for like the American bison, and so I put in for that once in a lifetime. I mean, if my luck continues, maybe I'll get it sooner than later, but a nice Utah bull bison would be my dream hunt for sure. It was an amazing experience, lots of memories I'll never forget, lots of new friendships, amazing people that stopped by our camp and met there. So yeah, hunting's not just about the pursuit of an animal, it's like also just all the fun times you can spend in the mountains and enjoying this beautiful nature. But yeah, it was a great time, so I'm glad for the opportunity.